Welcome to the Addict to the Brush. Today I've got a quick tutorial for you on how I make my winter themed bases. The first thing I've done is I've attached a bit of rubble, bit of debris as a basing item onto a base. I've fixed it with some wood filler to give it some grip. You could use no nails or something similar. I tend to use wood filler rather than PVA because it doesn't stick to resin plaster, unlike wood filler or something like no nails or something. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread some Astrogranite grey across this. I tend to use a dental tool for this job. I've got a couple that I use for spreading these things out, which makes getting it onto the base easier, and I'm not ruining a brush or something. I can always clean these tools up afterwards. So what I'm going to do is splurge clumps of this out. One tool, you want quite a decent coverage so you can spread it out. Apply some to the other side. Once I've got enough on there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread it out with another tool. It's more or less a dental pick. Just spread it out, get it right up into the little bit of debris that I've put on the base, and just drag it out with the end of the pick. There's a reason I use these tools, because I can, once the stuff's dried onto the tool, I can always scrape it off with a knife afterwards without causing any damage. I don't have to worry about this material being a too thick a layer. It's not like using the iron earth or some of the other textures. I'm really using this to disguise the joins between the basing debris, hide the texture of the base, give some more detail. If I was using some little cork shims, I'd probably be covering them completely with this just to hide the edge of the cork, make it look more natural. After all, some people have a repulsion to seeing cork used on bases. I don't know why. I find it perfectly acceptable, but I know there are some people out there, not mentioning any names, you know who you are if you see this. Try and get more of this on camera. The problem I am having is trying to keep what I'm doing far enough away from me that you can see what I'm doing, but close enough to me that I can see what I'm doing. As I'm getting old, my sight is starting to fail. So now that I've got that on there, now what you might see is it's starting to get a bit of a glossy texture to it, just a bit of shine as it's drying, and unfortunately it can dry with that shine to it, and I want to try and avoid that. So that's why I use the dental tools, is to apply it. And what I don't like doing is getting it too far into a brush that wrecks the brush. because this is what a brush that looks like it's been stabbed in texture paint looks like after a while. It doesn't look very healthy. It's starting to bow out, and try and reduce the wear on it. I only save it for the last step. Having dried the brush, I'm literally going to tap the surface just to try and break up some of that shininess that seems to be there, some of the smooth lumps, to see if we can develop a little bit more of a texture, and hopefully we won't get too much worked into the brush. That's why I only use old brushes for this. Nothing you plan on keeping. Sorry for the text alert, folks. So that's that one done. Once that's dry, what I'm going to do is paint it with Ratling Grime. So here's another one that I done earlier, Blue Peter style. All I'm going to do now is paint Ratling Grime all over the grey sections, trying to avoid getting it onto the other details. We will get some there, unfortunately, but we can hide that with the next step anyway. So I'm literally just going to douse this in Ratling Grime. Now, if I was just finishing off like this, I would probably come in with some other colours just to mix it up a little bit, add some variety. Because of the next step, I'm not too worried, as you'll see. Try and wipe some of the excess off the top surfaces. Doesn't matter too much. So that's now got the Ratling Grime on it. So I'm going to put that one to one side. The next and final step is I'm going to take some Valhalan Blizzard. It's another technical paint that Games Workshop do, and a lot of people don't really understand how to apply this stuff. There is kind of two-step process to applying this. Sorry for the second text alert. First step, I'm going to take some of it and just apply blobs of it to the edges of where I've got this basin shim, this little bit of debris. Do the same on the other side. Don't need too much, just need enough to about spread it out a little bit and just break up the outline a little bit. Put that off camera, I know, but it was easier to do a little bit closer to me. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up a slurry of some Valhalan Blizzard with some water. It doesn't have to be a huge amount. Take some more of the Valhalan Blizzard, dump it into the water, apologies, I haven't cleaned the brush that I've just used. You get a thin, runny slurry, watered down. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and put this watery mess over the top. just going to work around. Now what I'm trying to do is mix a little bit of what we already put back in, so that when it dries we'll end up with something that looks like this. Once it dries, you have something that looks like this. It's not snow everywhere, it's just snow into the recesses, into the gaps where it looks like snow's blown around. This is a base that's going to be for a Destroyer Lord that I'm currently working on. The last thing to point out is the little pieces that I'm using on the bases are made out of press molds. They're basically already pre-painted because I painted them in advance. They're sections that have been cast out of resin plaster using a blue Smurf putty. It's a silicone putty that you can buy in most craft and hobby shops. Right. I've been the Addict to the Brush. Thank you for watching. If you've liked what you've seen, please like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.